Okay, last Salmon Man. I've always heard it Salmon. Les says Salmon in the song. I guess that's just what people from California call it. So disclaimer, this is not a lesson over the album, Green Algahyde version of the track. This is over the live version of the track, particularly the one from summer camp sessions, link in the description. Okay, so the first riff, which I'm going to refer to as the main riff, goes like this. So I'm going to play that again, but slower. Alright, so we have a bar chord here at 7, D and G7. Strum it. And the third time, strum up on 5. Again. Okay, so 2 more strums on 7. And then so that is a very quick strum on 5. And then 2 on 7. 1 on 10. So all together. And then at the end, before the verses, we have... I don't really know what to call that riff, but the word break comes to mind for some reason, so I'm just going to call it the break riff. So, 7, 5, 7, 2, 4, 5, 10, 9. Alright, so for the verses, we're going to be hanging around the same notes as the break riff. Those notes, but just on the G string. Not on the D string. I mean, for some of this you can let that open D ring out, but in the version I'm looking at anyway, that doesn't happen a whole lot. So anyway, the verses at 7 here. 10, 9. So in the middle of the verses, like about halfway through each verse, I guess you'd call it, there's the break riff again, but just on the G string. And then again, except now Lur's guitar's in here going eep, eep. Okay, so second half of the verse, when the guitar comes in, we're back at the... But instead of, we're not going to do that, we're just going to play the break riff again. Suddenly pretty intense, you know, like put emphasis into those strums here, so. Back into the main riff. Okay, so after the second main riff part, we're into the... again, and then we're at... We're doing that for a little bit before the second verse vocals come in. And there's a little fill here. So that's 9, 10, 12 on G. 9, 10, 12. 3 times. Then a 9. Slide down to a 5, 7. And then the vocals come in. Alright, so the second verse is going to have the same structure as the first verse, ending with a back into our main riff. And so after that we go into this part here, something, something, something like his father used to show him. And that's going to go like... on the guitar. Whoops. Alright, so we have a slide up to A10, and then D9. And a slide up to D12 to G10. Okay, then we have a hammer on here at G12, hammer on 14, another 12, D14, then a muted note to D10, A12. Kind of hang on the note the second time, kind of bend it. That for the guitar to go. Okay, so after that we are going to go back into the main riff for the chorus of the song. But going into that we're going to strum 10-9 for the you'll be the last sound. Okay, now for the next part of the song, which goes like this. So what's going on here is with your right hand, it's just slap, pop, slap, pop. The slap is on the E and A strings, and every time you slap there's a hammer on. And the notes, the 6 notes being played around with here are E, 7, 8, 10, and A, 7, 8, 10. And an open D pops throughout. So, do I have all the notes here memorized? I do not. But 4 very common patterns here are... So that's E10, E10 again, A8, back to E10, like that. Another common pattern is E10 twice, A8, A10. Another one is E10, A8, A10, and then E7. Whoops. That's one. And another one is E8, 7, 8, 7. Alright, and then we're going to move all that up a string. And when I say all that, I mean all that. So instead of popping D, you're popping G. And you're slapping the A and D strings with hammer-ons at 7, 8, 10. But before going into that, you'll want to end the first part with an open G pop, like so. And then do some of those same patterns up a string, kind of like this. And then end on an open D pop, back into how it was before, so kind of like this. Okay, and you want to close that hammer-on part with strum on 7 here. So with context. Okay, and so get some open Ds going. Again, I'm going by the performance link below, not by the album version. Let's get a G19 here. And then one of those, that's G16, 17, 19. Now we're going to do a... So we're at 15, 17, and 19. So D17, hammer on 19, G17, back to 19, again, and then 15, hammer on 17 on D, 17, 15, and then 15, hammer on 17 on A. Pretty staccato here. Okay, so as you're hitting the open D, 7 on G, hammer on 9, 9 hammer on 10, 10 hammer on 12, 10, strum the 7. Okay, we're going to do another one of those climbs. But after the 10 hammer on 12, we're going to do a okay, I'll play that part slower now. Alright, so we're at 14, 15, 17 on D and G. So we're going to do 14, 15, 17 on G, 15, 17 on D, 14 on G, and then 15, 14, 15 on D, 15 hammer on 17, G14, strum at 7 again. Okay, so up next we have some tapping here at D18 and G19. Ending with that 7 strum. Okay, so this next part we're going to be bending up the D and G strings at the 7th fret. Ending with a second time. The third time you're going to do it multiple times, ending with a okay, so the third time is going to be kind of like this. So it kind of helps you put your finger not really on top of the G string, but kind of underneath it to kind of like push the string this way. Okay, and at the end of the bridge we have this fill bringing us into the last verse of the song. I'll play that again slower. So we're at A5, hammer on 7, D5, D7, slide to 9, 9 2 more times, D7, hammer on 9, G7, G9 3 times, back to 7. Okay, back to the verses. And at the end of our final verse, we have another into our main riff. And after that, we have another into the final chorus. You'll be awesome. that main riff is going to continue to the end of the song. So there we go. Last Salmon Man.